Cam Newton had one of the greatest seasons of all time for the Auburn Tigers in 2010, but it was a long road to get to that point. He was a 5-star recruit in 2006 and signed with the Florida Gators, but was stuck backing up one of the most legendary college QBs ever in Tim Tebow. So he had to transfer to Blinn College in Brenham, Texas for 1 year where he completely dominated, and this started a bidding war in college football for his services with tons of rumors on what was needed to get him to play for your school. But in the end, the Auburn Tigers secured his services, and he went on to lead the Tigers on one of the most improbable runs we have ever seen in college football, and Cam showed he was maybe the most dominant player we have ever seen strap it up in the NCAA. So I'm going to recreate this 2010 Auburn Cam Newton season in the college football revamped mod, and we have 3 main goals we have to beat to match Cam's season. First, we have to go undefeated and win the national championship just like Cam at Auburn. Number 2, we have to pass Cam's mark for passing yards, rushing yards, and total touchdowns. Then lastly, we have to take home the Heisman Trophy to match Cam Newton here. Here we go, week 1, and Auburn's new star, junior college transfer Cam Newton is strapping it on for the Tigers for the first time with the weight of the world on his shoulders, and they host the Washington State Cougars. And through the first quarters, the nerves seem to be getting to Cam with a few stall-out drives, and just when Cam gets the offense moving, he drops back and he throws it into coverage, and the Cougars are able to capitalize and go up 8-0 after the first quarter. But after that, the Cam show started to take over, and he was running all over the Cougars defense before throwing a strike over the middle to tie this game up. Then Cam started to take over, delivering deep bombs down the field to show off his cannon. Then he kept the ball, got into the secondary, and went untouched for a 60-yard touchdown run. And off of that, it was clear the whole country needed to be on notice that Cam Newton was here and he was ready to take over college football. And the Tigers closed this one out 50-12, with Cam having over 500 yards on offense and 5 touchdowns. Then the Tigers hosted an overmatched Arkansas State squad, and from the jump, it was all Tigers, with Cam once again putting on a show and dominating with his arm, dotting up the defense, then with his legs, showing how complete of a weapon he is. It was 42-7 at the end of the third, and then the final was 51-28 Tigers. Then going into week 3, and the Tigers start their SEC schedule, and they are hosting Mississippi State, and Cam leads a great opening drive, dominating on the ground and capping it off with a 30-yard touchdown run. But after that, Cam struggled, throwing some bad balls into coverage, and really kept Mississippi State in this game and letting them jump out to a 21-7 halftime lead. But then Cam started to look like the old Cam Newton, rushing it in for a score, then showing off his cannon and letting it fly to an open streaking receiver to tie this ball game up. Then late in the fourth, it is 28-all, and Newton sees his receiver on a deep cross and he fires it in, and the cornerback comes over, almost picks it, but the receiver holds on and is able to score to go up 7. Then the defense holds strong and gives the Tigers offense the ball back, and Cam puts the exclamation point on this game with a 50-yard touchdown scamper to end this off, and they take home the W. And at this point, it seems like nobody in the country is going to be able to keep Cam down for the whole game, and the big boys of college football need to take notice. Then for their first road game of the year, the Tigers head to Baton Rouge to take on 0-3 LSU. And though they were able to keep it tight till half, Cam was once again too much to handle, passing for 380 yards, really pushing the ball all over the field. And then on top of that, he had another 103 on the ground, and Auburn takes this one 42-21, and they move to 4-0 on the year. And we traveled to College Station to face the Aggies, and we pounced all over them, and Cam had an insane day with over 400 total yards and added an absolutely incredible 7 touchdowns. And at this point, it seemed like Super Cam was only getting better, and he was showing no signs of slowing down. So at this point in the year, we are 8-0 and have jumped from unranked all the way to the number 3 team in the nation, and we are well on our path to the national championship. Remember, our second goal, we needed to beat real life 2010 Cam in pass yards, rush yards, and total touchdowns, and this is where we sit so far, so we are well on our way to hitting those marks. Then lastly, we had to win the Heisman Trophy, and so far we are the Heisman favorite and are in the driver's seat to capturing it just like Cam in 2010. Then 9-0 Auburn headed to number 10 Tennessee to take on the Volunteers, and before this game, it seemed like this would be a tight matchup, but the Tigers completely jumped them, and Cam was lights out from the very beginning, and he seems to be getting better as the year goes on. And in this one, he had 320 yards through the air. Then on the ground, he was a force force of nature, going for 183 yards and completely dominating one of the top teams in the SEC. And at this point, the rest of the country cannot overlook Cam Newton because he is seemingly unstoppable. With that win, the Tigers catapult to the #1 team in the whole country, but they are playing by far their toughest test of the year, welcoming the #4 ranked Georgia Bulldogs to town. And if Cam and the Tigers can take them down, then the stage is set for a magical run. To start the game off, Cam gets it going on the ground and is running for some big pickups. Then he escapes the pocket and sees a streaking receiver and fires it cross-body for an insane 30-yard strike to go up 7-3. Then in the second quarter, it is 10-7 Bulldogs, and Cam starts picking apart the defense, throwing strikes all over the field, and he is getting out of the pocket to buy time and push it down the field. Then to cap it off, he hands it to Dyer, who dives in the end zone to put the Tigers up 14-7. Then coming out after half, and Cam picks up right where he left off, grabbing chunks on the ground, and then he delivers a strike for a hole shot between the safety and corner. Then once again, they are inside the 5, and Cam puts his head down and barrels into the end zone for a huge score. Then late in the fourth, the Bulldogs are down 10 and trying to get a drive going, but the Tigers defense comes up huge and completely shuts them down, and that is it. Zeros on the board. There is no doubt this Cam-led Tigers team has to be the favorite to win it all at this point. Then here it is, rivalry week, and we have the Iron Bowl, one of the greatest rivalries in all of college sports. It is the battle for the state of Alabama, and the bad blood between these two teams runs thick. And Bama comes into this game with 2 losses, but if they can knock off the Tigers, then their whole season will be worth it. Cam starts this one off really using his legs, escaping the pocket and trying to make plays on the edge. And he's just really showcasing his insane athleticism, putting pressure on this Tide defense. He delivers some big balls and gets it inside the 5-yard line before he keeps it and punches it in himself. Then it is 7-all, and Cam starts rocking with another big run, but then he gets greedy. He tries to squeeze this ball into a tight window, and Bama is going the other way, and this is a huge mistake for Newton. Luckily, the Tigers D is able to hold strong and get the stop and give it back to Cam with 12 seconds left in the half, and he drops back, sees Johnson streaking down the field, lets it fly for a huge pickup. What a throw, what a play, and this puts them in field goal range with 1 second left, and they bang it through the uprights to go up 3 at half. Then with about a minute left, Cam gets it back, and it's tied at 10, and he needs a drive. He starts with a few easy completions underneath for some good yards. Then he drops back, has a post breaking, and fires it in. The DB tries to undercut it, but he just misses, and Brown is gone for the huge score to put the Tigers up 7 in the fourth quarter, and the Auburn faithful are going crazy. Then Bryce Young leads a spectacular drive of his own. They are running the ball, and they pick up some easy completions until with 2 minutes left, 3rd and 8, he is breaking over the middle. He hits him in stride, and he dives in the end zone for the score to tie this one up. Then Cam has a chance to ice this one. All he needs is 3. So he scampers all over and around the Bama defenders for some big pickups and gets the ball inside their 20-yard line with 1:15 left in the game. But from there, disaster strikes. Cam drops back, and on 3rd and 17, trying to pick up some yardage and make it an easier field goal, and he gets sacked and gets pushed back, and it is 4th and 28. They are now out of field goal range, and they have to go for this. And Cam tries to push it down the field, but it is incomplete. Bama's ball with 8 seconds left, and it looks like we are going to OT. But then maybe the worst play in Alabama team history takes place. There is just seconds left on the clock. Just run it out to go to overtime, but they try a screen pass, and the corner comes out of nowhere, picks off Young, and goes the other way for a pick 6. And the crowd is going insane in Jordan-Hare Stadium. That is it. What a finish to the Iron Bowl, and Auburn wins, remains undefeated, and punches their ticket to the SEC championship game. And here it is, the SEC championship, and Cam and the Auburn Tigers are 1 game from history. They are trying to make the national championship and wrap up one of the most dominating from out of nowhere seasons that the college football world has ever seen, and they have 1 team in their way, the Georgia Bulldogs. Now, Cam and Auburn have a great dominating dominating first half and really take it to the dogs. And Cam is doing it with his arm, making some crazy throws, and with his legs, showing how special of an athlete he is. And at the half, they were up 17-7. But then Auburn takes the opening second half kick for 7 and cuts this lead right down. And then Cam has a really nice drive going and really showing how much his passing has progressed through this season. But then on the edge of the red zone, it is third down and Newton tries to fit this post in and the dogs pick it off and we have a ball game. And then the dogs are able to drive down, kick a field goal, and this game is tied. So here it is, a trip to the Natty on the line, and Cam needs to make a play. And the dogs actually get him to 3rd and 12, but he stands in and delivers a big ball down the sideline for the first down. Then he does a triple option, keeps it, and gets out for a 20-yard gain on the ground, and the Tigers are rolling. Then another option play, and Cam has a huge hole up the middle. He dives upfield and has them just outside the red zone. Then a few plays later, 2nd and goal, and Cam beats the dogs with his arms, fires in the out route to Moore, who gets in to give the Tigers a massive score. Then the dogs get it back and have a drive going, but they are inside the Tigers territory and they throw a tight end hitch and try to spike the ball, but they run out of time, and that is it. It is over. Tigers win, and they have booked their ticket to the Natty, and they are SEC champs. And Cam Newton is one game away from cementing himself as one of the greatest legends the college football world has ever seen. And here it is. It all comes down to this: the national championship, and the undefeated #1 team in the country, Auburn Tigers, are facing off the #2 ranked, 1-loss Oklahoma Sooners, and the Tigers are on the doorstep of greatness. And to start this off, Cam has a rough first half, trying to force the ball into coverage and really just not taking what is there. He has a few really bad picks, just trying to do too much. And because of that, the Tigers were down 10-7 before he leads a really nice drive with some big time throws before capping it off with a strike on an out route to go up 14-7. But then the Sooners return the kickoff for 6, and Cam gets the ball back with 30 seconds left in the half, and he starts it off with a run and bullies his way through the Sooners defense for a huge gain. Then the very next play, he sees one-on-one on the outside and lets it fly to Brown, who has a step and scores a massive touchdown before the half. And those two plays right there show why Cam will go down as an all-timer. Then in the second half, Cam completely took over this game on the ground, and the Sooners could not contain him. He ran all over the defense, and the Sooners did not play anyone like Newton before this game, and once he got going, they had no answer for him, and he ran for 191 yards in this game alone. Then late in the game, the Sooners are trying to get back in it. They are down 10, and they try to take a shot deep. They throw it up into coverage, and with 1 minute left, the Tigers pick off this ball, and that is it. They can just run this ball out. Zeros on the board, and the Tigers win the national title, coming out of nowhere, starting as an unranked team, and on the back of Cam Newton, they go undefeated, beating every tough opponent who was in their way. And it is undeniable, Cam Newton just had one of the greatest seasons ever and has to be on the short list for the greatest college football players ever. So to wrap this season up and looking at our goals, we were able to finish this season undefeated, winning the national champ. Then we had to beat Cam's stats for the season, and we had way more passing yards. Then we had 59 total touchdowns compared to Cam's 50, but we came up 11 yards short of Cam's rushing yards. Then lastly, we had to win the Heisman, and we were the runaway winner, taking this home easily. Then this Cam season is one of the best ever for a QB in the history of college football. But have you ever wondered what would happen if 12 of the best college QBs ever, all in college football at the same time, playing in the same conference? Well, I just did a 3-year sim of this exact scenario, and to check out what happens, you need to watch this video right here.